What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Universal Mastery. Welcome back to my public YouTube channel. Now, if you're new, let me give you a little bit of a perspective on exactly what I do here, okay? What I do here is I break down the occult sciences, and I break them down to a very practical degree so that you can simply use them and apply them in your day-to-day life and get real, actual results with what it is that I'm speaking about here on my public channel, okay? Let me give you a little bit of an understanding of who I am, just so that you know who you're getting this information from, because that is definitely something that is very important to understand, okay? My name is Jeremiah Schwartz. I am a professional occultist. I am fully initiated in the entirety of the Kabbalistic tree. I'm studied when it comes to the 22 major arcana of the tarot deck, and I'm also studied when it comes to planetary energies in direct association with astrology, okay? So what exactly is going to be the topic of our today's video? We are going to be talking about specifically things that I personally wish I knew before getting into the occult, okay? So I'm going to be discussing some of the personal things that I really wish someone let me know about or explain to me in much depth about in regards to what this field is going to require to be successful within the occult field, or just even some of the things that you can expect when getting into the occult field, okay? So if this video is something that sounds intriguing, but most importantly, something that sounds important to listen to, then obviously listen to your intuition, and I will see you on the other side. Okay, so let's jump right in. Okay, so let's start here. Okay, let's start here. First thing first, let's be honest. The occult has been something that is more so publicly practiced in recent times. Okay, literally, if you actually think about it, around 500 years ago, people were getting executed for practicing the occult, okay? This is not long ago, okay? Literally, think about that for a second. Around like 500 years ago, people were actually getting killed for being public about their occult practices, or even just doing occult practices and then getting snitched on by other people who were religious, okay? So within this new era that we're in, 2022, where we have social media platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and of course, I'm going to say it, TikTok, where there are tons of avenues for different types of studies, different pathways in regards to life, different types of entertainment, and all these different avenues and opportunities to learn different things and to even express yourself, okay? That is something very new to our era right now that we're in. Now, following this, there are obviously going to be a lot of individuals who speak on things and say things about themselves that oftentimes may not be completely authentic to those individuals. So basically what I'm saying in a nutshell, if we're going to take it in the context of the occult field, there are tons of people that claim to be powerful magicians, claim to be practiced and studied, experienced occultists, because maybe they did a spell here and there, maybe they did something, maybe they manifested some sort of paranormal phenomena, whatever the case is, and that's okay, trust me. I'm aware that there are a lot of beginners, and I'm aware that there are a lot of people that are early off in their practices. But the point that I'm trying to make right now is that there's a lot of people that are beginners and that are early off in their practices that claim to be advanced, that claim to be experts, that claim to be even, we'll put it straight, powerful. And a lot of the times I see it myself. A lot of these individuals have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. And a lot of the times they're basing um, a lot of their behaviors off of social programming, which is, something that literally comes from the deeper layers of the occult field, specifically the the black magic aspect of the occult. So what I'm saying is I see a lot of occultists who claim to be magicians, claim to be experienced, claim to be powerful, and they're completely indoctrinated, programmed, and controlled by the deeper layers of what real black magic is. Okay. And long story short, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I want you as a listener to really understand that there is a ton of individuals who do not have real knowledge, who do not have the right or proper experience to really be speaking about the occult field from a valuable lens. Okay, it will serve you to understand this so that you don't fall into the trap of listening to some average person or listening to some person who thinks they're experienced, thinks they know something, thinks they even know what the occult is even about, and then taking their advice for being completely true. Okay, there's a lot of people that get misled by false information, and that ends up screwing over a lot of individuals who could potentially go down a better path. We could put it that way. Okay, so just be aware there are a lot of frauds, there are a lot of delusional individuals, specifically within the occult field, that really do not know what they're talking about. Okay, there is a fewer group of individuals that are actually experienced, that actually have real knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and actually have real power to affect changes in their real life, in the physical world, but as well as within themselves. Okay. And you will recognize these individuals. Oftentimes, these individuals are going to have a pretty tight knit following. You're going to see there's a lot of individuals that consistently tune into their content, and you're going to see similar faces show up over and over and over again. So, for example, when they do live streams, or if you look in their comment section, you're going to see a bunch of reoccurring members that are continuously following this type of practitioner. If you're ever studying from a practitioner that has a bunch of followers, that oftentimes is a good sign that they're teaching something authentic. Obviously, it doesn't mean that they may be super advanced or they may be the best, occultist on the planet or the most knowledgeable occultist on the planet, but if they at least have a large grouping of followers that are consistent and loyal followers, that is a clear sign that that individual, as the occultist, is doing something correct. Okay, therefore, you could gain some value by learning from some of the things that they're teaching. And these occultists 100% do exist, especially on YouTube. I know a couple on the top of my head that I would consider to be very valuable occultists that you could learn from. Okay. But then I've also seen, and I don't follow any of them, I don't keep up to date with any of them. Okay. I don't care about any of them. I've seen many occultists that show up out of nowhere and then say all this stuff. I can do this. I am this. This is what I'm teaching. This is what I do. And I can just see by the behavior of them that they're not experienced. They have not been through the real initiations. They haven't been through real challenges that have been able to weather them and train them mentally, emotionally, physically, psychologically, on all these different levels. And most oftentimes, these occultists come out with huge amounts of, perspectives and their opinions on things, and then they wither away and they stop posting and they disappear because they were never I want to say this, they never had the proper foundation from the beginning. Now you have someone that's new into the occult field and doesn't know who is the more advanced practitioners within the field, and the person doesn't have the ability to really recognize that type of individual when they see one. So this new individual coming into the occult finds a person like the one I just mentioned who just pops in the occult field, isn't really that experienced, and just starts spewing all this information and opinions. And now this new occultist starts listening to everything this person is saying because it sounds interesting, it sounds mystical, it sounds intriguing. It usually is something that just grasps your desires very intensely. It's almost so mystical that it's just delusional. Okay, and that's exactly what the case is. And then once again, with this example that I'm creating, you have this brand new occultist who has no idea what they're getting themselves into. They're now learning from someone who's not experienced. And then that's a string effect, and that affects a lot of other individuals that are trying to get into the occult field. Okay? And you can imagine this is one of the key reasons as to why there are so many failed occultists in this field. It's because if you're learning from someone who is not advanced or is not a professional to some degree, then you're learning from someone who is not successful. And if you're learning from someone who's not successful, then what do you think you're going to end up becoming by learning from that type of person? You're going to fall in the same archetypal pattern, okay? If the person you're learning from does not have a foundation, then how can you expect yourself to have a foundation when you're learning from that individual, okay? So that's one thing that I really want to make clear for the very beginning of this video, and I did wish that somebody really explained this aspect to me in very much depth. Now, me being the person I am personally, I've been through specific life experiences in my own life leading up to the occult, before I got into the occult, that trained me to be more aware of certain types of individuals. So I didn't come into the occult field super open, super gullible to idiots. Okay, I can recognize an idiot when I see one. Okay, I can just read people's behaviors. I'm pretty good when it comes to psychological awareness. And straight up, if someone doesn't sound powerful to me, if they don't sound strong, if they don't sound knowledgeable, if they don't sound wise, if they don't sound like they understand things, then I'm not going to take them as seriously as maybe the next person would. I'm going to recognize, okay? So thankfully, that wasn't something that really misled me on my journey, but I wish someone really did communicate from the beginning stages of my occult journey that there was tons of frauds that are in this field. Okay, and I know, whatever field you get into, I'm so aware of this. Whatever field you're in, whatever community that you're in, there are always going to be frauds. There are always going to be individuals that claim they know what's going on, think they have the knowledge, think they know what's right, and they really have no experience, and they're speaking from just something they read or something somebody else told them, and they haven't had their own experience. Okay, I know this happens with all different fields, but when we're talking about the occult field specifically, there are so many of these individuals. And the reason why that is because the nature of this field is dealing with the deep areas of the unconscious and subconscious mind, which basically gives a lot of people access to say things that they have no idea what they're actually saying. They have no perspective on what they're saying and what it actually means, but they feel the ability to just share whatever they want because it's the spiritual field, it's the occult field, it's the hidden. So I can say whatever I want, and other people can listen to me and understand me at least, or at least hear what I have to say. And once again, that's all wonderful and cool, but if you're somebody who is dealing with delusional states of mind, and you're someone who's dealing with an overactive ego on top of a delusional state of mind, which you could say both are interchangeable, and then you're mixing that in with your deep unconscious and subconscious, you can imagine the types of things that individuals will say when they have this issue going on. They'll say all kinds of crazy things, and guess what? There are going to be other individuals that listen to that person, just because it's just the nature of humanity, okay? And so that is something you definitely want to be aware of. That's something I wish I really knew when I was getting into the occult field. Now, the second thing that I would say is the most important thing in regards to something that I really wish I knew before getting into the occult was I wish I had somebody that communicated very clearly to me, literally what I do on my YouTube channel. See, a lot of the things that I wish I had along my spiritual evolutionary journey, I act as that being for whoever it is that is tuning into my YouTube channel, okay? So once again, I've communicated this very clearly throughout my YouTube channel. Those of you who consistently watch my channel, you know that I speak about this, but what I was going to say is that I wish someone communicated to me and let me know how serious the occult was. And when I say serious, I mean on a level of this is an evolutionary path of discipline, structure, order, really understanding yourself, gaining a real knowledge of the self. So originally when I was drawn towards the occult, I was at a point in my life that I needed change. I was ready for change. I was hungry for change. I desired change to a deep degree. And that naturally brought me across occult information that then opened up some doorways for me. Now, there was also mixed in with this hunger for change, there was also a part of me that was desiring material gaining, material items, we could say, material gains. I wanted materialistic things because it was just a part of my ego. It was a part of my sense of self identity. And I was so ready for a change in my life that I just wanted to shift everything completely. And obviously, I wanted to live a very nice lifestyle. I wanted to be able to manipulate reality to my will, so to speak. And these are all wonderful things. If these are things that you truly want to be able to do, then the occult is definitely the field that will teach you how to use your mind to manifest your reality and mold it into the exact form that you want it to be. But what I didn't know is that there is an excruciating initiatory process that an individual has to go through in order to get to that level of manipulation and that level of power. So I never had anybody that really sat down with me and told me, or I didn't even know anybody even on YouTube or social media platforms that was speaking about occult initiation and the seriousness of what occult initiation is. Okay? I'm thinking when I first got into the occult, okay, yeah, I heard about occult initiation. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do some initiations and then I'm going to step into my power. And this is going to work out for me because I know I'm one of the only individuals that really is willing and able to do this right now. And long story short, I did some occult initiations. I opened some doorways for myself. And then what I noticed is my life got completely flipped upside down. When I say upside down, upside down, I'm literally referring to the fact that I opened up energetic gateways to the clip off, to the underworld. And these doorways into the underworld is what flipped my life upside down, which essentially you could think of it, made my life more hellish in nature. It made my life experience more negatively charged. Now, because I'm the person that I am, and I have the willpower that I have in the certain type of intention that I have, I use the experience of this challenging initiatory dark energy to my advantage and ultimately allowed it to transform myself to become the most powerful version of myself, which is where I'm at right now as I'm making this YouTube video. Hello, how's it going? Okay. So it worked out for me. It went great for me. It was a challenge. It is a continuous process. The bulk of the initiations that I initiated myself into were some of the most hard times of my entire life. They were some of the most excruciating experiences I had to go through in my entire life. And that entire experience lasted a little bit over 2 years. Okay? These are all things that I had no idea that I was getting myself into. Okay? No idea. My ego in the beginning stages of before I opened up these energetic doorways was telling me, oh yeah, you're going to do these initiations. You're going to get through it within about 2 months. You're going to have nice things and then you're going to be powerful and then you're going to be a wonderful black magician and do whatever you want. Okay. And sure enough, that is not at all how it actually unfolded. Okay. I opened up these doorways and once again, my life slowly and surely started destructing. There was so many things that were starting to get removed in my life. Things within myself in connection to my ego. Things in my external environment were getting stripped and ripped away from me. And I was just sitting there watching everything get destroyed. And as I was going through this process and in observing this, I was starting to slowly and surely become aware that I need to just surrender all of these things around me and even the things within myself that are not serving me. I'm not going to fight against it anymore. I'm not going to try to hold on to it. I'm not going to resist the process. I'm going to surrender. And when I finally allowed myself to get to that state, which took some time, it took months for me to get to this state of awareness. But when I finally got to that state of awareness, then I started becoming a more powerful observer because I started to really understand the deeper truths that nothing happens for no reason. You are exactly where you need to be, exactly when you need to be there. And the more you can understand those source principles and be an observer, you appreciate your life experience much more. And naturally, by being that observer and having that level of appreciation, you're actually able to take more advantage of your evolutionary experience. Okay? Nobody told me that this is something that I was going to be experiencing or that this was something that I should expect as I was getting into these levels of occult initiation. I had no idea what the occult field was really even about. I knew it had to do with increasing power, and that is very real and that's very true, specifically if you're following the darker path. But I didn't know the process that you had to go through to obtain that power. And this is something that you for sure want to be aware of. There is a real process that you have to experience and that you have to go through. And this process is not something that's going to last in a day, 2 days, a week, a month, 3 months, a year. It can take up to 2 years or longer for an individual to completely and fully successfully go through this process and then make it out to the other side. Now, this is another thing that nobody told me. There are the majority of individuals who get into the occult field and are unsuccessful with their occult practices. Okay, what does that even mean? Okay, there are individuals that get into the occult field and they stay in the occult field without having purpose. They have no idea why they're actually using the occult in their life. They have no idea what they're practicing. They have no idea what they're studying or why they're studying it. They're just existing within the in-between as an occultist, not fully understanding what the hidden realm, what the spiritual realms, what the occult is actually geared for. Okay, so what the occult is actually geared for is personal soul and spirit evolution. There are two primary paths of evolution. There is the positive path and there is the negative path. There is the light, there is the dark. Okay, it is your decision to choose what path you are on. And when you start to realize what your soul gravitates more so towards, then you have to start actively and consciously following that level of evolution or following that path of evolution. There are so many individuals who are not negatively polarized enough to make any sort of difference after death. And when I say difference after death, I mean graduation. They cannot, they get stuck in the cycle of reincarnation. And there are so many people on the positive path who are not positive enough to once again graduate and break out of the cycle of reincarnation. So if you're somebody who doesn't understand your purpose and is not really pushing, disciplining yourself, and trying to understand this area of your being, no matter what path you choose between the positive or the negative path, you're not going to make any progress and you are going to end up as a failed occultist. Now, if you're somebody who's in the in-between state and you're lacking that level of motivation or discipline or intention to really stepping into your highest potential, if you get into the darker path, the negative path of evolution, and you start opening up doorways of initiation, I promise you, you will not make it through those levels of initiation. Okay? The darker path of occult initiation is the most challenging spiritual path that you can follow. Now, this is also the path that gives you the most physical, material rewards as well. That's why when people are successful black magicians, they always build empires. They always have followers. They always have huge amounts of wealth. Okay? The majority of individuals that get into the darker side of the evolutionary practices, the negative polarity, are not going to successfully make it through those initiations. There are a lot of individuals who are going to try to walk the positive path. And there are a lot of those individuals, not as many as the negative, but there is just as much of a large portion of individuals that are not going to successfully positively polarize. Okay? So thankfully, once again, taking it back to myself, I'm glad personally that I'm the person that I am. I'm glad that I had the upbringing that I've had that really caused me to analyze my life and analyze certain areas of my life at a young age and go through really challenging experiences that trained me to understand myself. And we could even go deeper. We could say, I've had past lives where I've understood this process. Um, I've let's just put it that way. I've had past lives where I've understood this process, which carried into this lifetime, which helped me to understand these experiences and helped me to go through the type of life experience that I went through, almost as if I programmed it for myself, which is true. Um, and that's why when I got into the occult, specifically the dark path of the occult, I was successful. I was ready for it. I was willing to be successful or die. Okay. I was literally that seriously ready for it. Okay. Let me say that one more time just so you can really absorb that. I was ready to be successful with this path, and the only other option was death. That's what I made clear in my own mind. I was like, if I don't choose this path, and if I don't make success out of this path, I would rather die. Okay, and I did that back in 2018. Okay, 2022, I'm here now. I'm successful. Okay, and there's a lot of people that are lacking that ability that I had. Okay, and if somebody could go back in time and let me know what I was getting myself into, that would have been very appreciated by myself. I would have been very thankful that I was aware of what I was getting myself into and at least would have had a better perspective on what to expect. Regardless, I would have still walked the path. As I said, I was ready to die. Okay. I was ready to do it, be successful, crush my way through, or die. Seriously. That's like how serious I was. I was at such a point in my life that I didn't even want to live unless I pursued some sort of spiritual soul evolution. That was the only thing that gave me a sense of wanting to live. And not saying that I was suicidal or things like, depressed. I wasn't that. I was just living a life feeling a lack of meaning. And when I was living that way, because of decisions that I was making in my younger years, when I was living that way for a period of time, it like built up this fire within me that eventually needed to express itself. And that's how it expressed itself. Um, and yeah, once again, if somebody had let me know what I was getting myself into, taking it back to my beginning stages, I would have been very thankful for that information, because when things started to get fiery and when things started to flip upside down, I would have had a much better understanding of why it was taking place. Okay, there was many nights and many days that I questioned, am I making a mistake? Did I do something wrong? Why is my life showing me this? This is not what I saw on movies. This is not what I see on TV shows. Why is my life getting ripped apart? Why are people around me, certain people around me dying? Why am I seeing death? Why am I seeing all this dark imagery? Did I get, did something happen that I'm not aware of that is working against me? And you could say all of these things are true to a degree, but once again, if you have what it takes, you will learn to take this negative experience or this type of circumstance and turn it into your own power. You take the dark energy, you alchemize it and say, you know what, while I'm here now, I'm going through so much change, so much ego death, and I have opportunity to really listen to my intuition and be my true self and create from this point. What am I going to do with all this destruction? What am I going to do with all this blank slate? What am I going to create now that everything I thought I wanted is ripped away from me? And from that blank slate, you can literally produce a reality based on your true self, your soul. And once again, this is what I did in regards to my evolution on the negative path. And this is one of the things that a lot of people do not have what it takes. So therefore, if you're watching this video, you now know if you're going to be getting into this level of spiritual soul evolution, you now at least know what you're getting yourself into. Okay? Now, other than that, it's going to wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed this video, definitely come down here and hit the thumbs up button. Also, come down here and hit that notification bell, because you definitely want to be notified whenever I post these videos, because these videos are very, very important for you to really understand and absorb. Okay. Also, if you're not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe. One of the main reasons why you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel is because there's a real energetic component that goes behind that. So when you're actually subscribing to the channel, specifically my channel, I'm an occultist, I know how to tap into these types of energies, we could say, you're further linking into the channel. You're further linking into my empire. You're further linking into this energy field. Okay? If you want the most bang for your buck, if you want the most value from the content, then I would highly recommend you subscribe. If not, it is what it is. Forget about it. Next thing I want to say is you have my full permission to copy and paste this link and send it out to anyone, specifically if you feel like this content would offer them value. Okay? Family, friends, social media platforms, you name it. My intention is to spread this content like a wildfire and to increase my empire in the process. And that's exactly what has been taking place and exactly what will continue to take place. Okay? The next thing I want to say is if you come right down here, you're going to see my Instagram handle. Go ahead and add me on Instagram. Super easy to type in, JER_477. And also, if you want to follow me on TikTok, if you go into the YouTube description, you will eventually see a link to my TikTok account where I post short clips from my YouTube channel that are valuable clips. So definitely make sure you take advantage of that. And I'm trying to get my TikTok to 1,000 followers so that I can do live streams on TikTok as well. Okay? Next thing I want to say is if you want to take advantage of joining within a private Facebook community, yes, it's a private Facebook community, you can do so once again in the YouTube description. You click the drop down, go down there, scroll down, you're eventually going to come across a post that says private Facebook community. Underneath that, there's a link for it. Follow where that link takes you. You can request to join within the private Facebook group. I will add you in. There are over 470 members within this group. People are posting on an active and a daily basis. And I'm telling you, there is tons of valuable information that is within this Facebook group as well. So if you want to take advantage of it, you know exactly what you need to do. We'll leave it there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now I'm going to take your awareness to literally the most important link within the entirety of the YouTube description. It's the first link at the very top. You click the drop down, first link right there. You cannot miss it. This is where you can join my Patreon. Okay, on my Patreon, I have an entire vault of exclusive occult content. None of this content is on my public YouTube channel, and that is for many, many, many different reasons. It is not meant for the public. It's only meant for people who are investing extra time and energy into their soul's evolution. Okay, I have content in the form of live streams, in the form of blog posts, and in the form of videos that are similar to this one, except all these different avenues are more advanced and more personal. Okay, then as you move into tier 3 and up, you're gaining access to an entire magic training course, which I feel like would be extremely valuable, especially if you're a beginning occultist and you're looking for a structured format to follow to start developing your psychic capabilities. That would be for tier 3 and up. Then as you enter into the top tier, which is tier 4, this is the most popular tier of the Patreon, believe it or not, which speaks for itself. This is what's called the Universe B Vampire Service. Okay, so what this means is that anyone who is a part of this service gets a specific ritual performed on them by myself. It's an advanced occult ritual that I perform on that day, on the 29th of every single month to the participants, which is designed to completely and permanently change their energetic structures to be more so what I call Universe B dominant. Okay, so what this means is that these individuals now have an ability to exist within the darker areas and locations of the multiverse itself without being harmed by them, but rather developing knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and ultimately personal power from them instead, because they are now transitioning into energetic vampires. Okay, this also gives these individuals an ability to be more so receptive to their unconscious, subconscious mind, and it also gives them an ability to pull in dark energy and chaos from their environment to transmute into their own power and potential. Okay, if this is something you're interested in, you know what to do. Top tier, first link in the YouTube description. We're going to leave it there. Ladies and gentlemen, as you move into, actually, let me say this. I want to give a special shout out specifically to all of the Patreon members for taking your knowledge, your practices, and your studies really to that other side. Okay, that's always going to be appreciated on a universal scale for anyone who's investing in taking their evolution more seriously than the average Joe or the average person. You are always going to get benefits from the universe for choosing the path of evolution. Okay, so huge shout out to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. You're never going unknown. Okay, now we move into the second link below. This is where you can book your tarot card reading with me. Okay, I can literally pinpoint exactly where you are on the Kabbalistic tree. I can tell you what you're feeling, experiencing, and going through in the present moment. And then I can tell you what to expect as you move into the near and the long-term future based on your placement on that Kabbalistic tree. And the reason why I can do this is because I'm a professional occultist who understands the Kabbalistic tree way more than the average person. Okay, you're not going to receive a reading that is similar to the reading that I give. I've done about 600 readings at this point. I do a reading almost every single day. I get tons of valuable feedback. If you want to take advantage of it, you know what to do. Second link below, book your reading. Okay? Then as you move into the third link below, you can join within the YouTube membership where you gain many different types of benefits. You enter into the wonderful YouTube community with all the other YouTube members. And you also, most importantly, gain access to the Psychic Warfare emoji program. Okay, so what this means is that you gain access to a specific sequence of emojis that can be used in a certain configuration. These emojis being created by myself based on occult principles. And then you can link in the name of a target, hit enter, and it will actually cause damage to that target on a psychic level. Okay, this is the most simple form of utilizing psychic warfare, and you can take advantage of it. Okay, there are about 2,000 posts where individuals have taken advantage of this program, and there are even individuals right now in this moment that are taking advantage of it. Okay, if this is something that sounds interesting and you would like to try it out for yourself or simply gain all the benefits and join within the YouTube membership, then you can do so. Third link below, become a YouTube member. Okay, we're going to leave that there. Ladies and gentlemen, as you move into the fourth link below, this is where you can book your 50-pack bundle of EMF incense sticks from me. So these are electromagnetic frequency incense sticks. These are sticks that I've personally created myself. I put in a special occult formula within the sticks that helps to give further access to the 11th sphere on the Kabbalistic tree, which creates 100% manifestation. There is a real monatomic gold that soaks into the sticks as well, which gives them their EMF properties. And then there is a real essential oil that's also placed in the sticks. And then at the base level that they soak for over 24 hours, there are real quartz crystals and there are real citrine quartz crystals that are charging them. Okay, these are not your traditional sticks. They are pre-packaged with energy. If you want to take advantage of them, you know what to do. Fourth link below, book your 50-pack bundle. Okay, we're going to leave it there. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you very much, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day or night, wherever you are, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.